Utah Business, in partnership with Utah SHRM, are pleased to present the 2023 HR Achievement Awards, recognizing the important role that human resource professionals play in the business community and shining a spotlight on those that make their organizations great places to work. Today's event is sponsored by Web, Digital Bytes Production and Design, Merit Medical, Select Health, Vivint, L3 Harris, Mountain America Credit Union, OC Tanner, and Savage. And now, please welcome your Master of Ceremonies, KUTV2 News anchor, Mallory Moore.
Welcome, everyone. We are so glad you are here this afternoon. We want to welcome you to the 6th Annual Utah Business and Utah SHRM HR Achievement Awards, and congratulations to the honorees. Today we are recognizing some outstanding human resource professionals who really set the standard for people management and who spearhead innovative initiatives to make their organizations a great place to work. In today's landscape, human resource leaders work to ensure their companies cross their T's, dot their I's when it comes to compliance. And successful HR leaders must have a real deep knowledge about pretty much everything, the whole spectrum of matters, including benefits, healthcare, HR law, technology, and much, much more. During today's program, we are going to have the opportunity to hear from some of these accomplished professionals, and we'll get a glimpse into what makes them tick, what makes them so successful. Now, Utah Business fosters connection, insight, and recognition for Utah's thriving professional community. Through the events, magazine, website, they highlight the ideas, innovations, and the people that are behind Utah business success stories. They are all in on Utah, and we can't wait to tell your stories. Please welcome the Editor-in-Chief of Utah Business, Melanie Jones.
Good afternoon. On behalf of Utah Business, welcome and thank you all for being here today to honor an inspiring group of human resource professionals. Thank you, Mallory, KUTV2 News anchor, for being here to help us celebrate these impressive honorees. I would also like to thank our partner, Utah SHRM, as well as our presenting sponsor, Web, and our premier sponsors, Digital Bytes Production and Design, Vivint, Select Health, and Merit Medical. I also want to recognize and thank all of our primary sponsors for your tremendous support. Special thank you to my team, Lynette, Hannah, and Hayden, who organized this beautiful event today. I want to give them a round of applause. They never let us down when it comes to executing a perfectly run and beautiful event, so thank you, ladies. Before we begin our celebration, I'd like to announce another program that will be right up your alley. On November 16th, we will be hosting Utah Business Forward, a conference that uses the brain power of Utah's business community to help all of our businesses move forward. The people and culture track at this conference includes presentations about human complexity in the workplace, how to create an authentic, connected culture, employee retention, diversity, equity, inclusion, and bridging employment gaps with return to work programs. Reach out to anyone from Utah Business to learn more, or come find me after today's ceremony. I hope to see you all back here in November. And since you are culture builders for your companies, I want to remind you that registration is open for Utah Business's Best Companies to Work For. This award is especially prestigious because Utah's best companies are selected by their own employees. Using Qualtrics survey technology, a percentage of your workforce will fill out anonymous surveys ranking your company on a number of factors, including flexibility, pay equity, vacation time, management, and more. Whether or not you receive the Best Companies designation, you can purchase the responses from your employees' surveys. If anyone appreciates and knows how to act on information like that, it's this group right here. When I think about key moments in my career, HR professionals have been there with me every step of the way. I remember Carol, who helped me navigate benefits when I was a first-time mom. I remember John, who really listened as I advocated on behalf of an employee, then translated that conversation to company-wide policies like part-time benefits and bridging that helped all of our employees. I remember Lori, who always helped me find new team members who would fit the culture I was building. Nicole, who led me through leadership training as a new director. Angela and Dave, who helped me navigate a few difficult employee separations over the years, including one with the founder's granddaughter. David, who helped me feel sane when I started a new career. Jen, who compassionately delivered the news that I was part of a RIF. And Thomas, who's here today, who onboarded me for my dream job at Utah Business. So thank you to all of you HR professionals for your support over the years. Human resource professionals are present at all the most human moments of a career, when emotions are running high, when we're stuck and can't move forward, when we're overjoyed but overwhelmed. It takes a special type of person to lower the temperature in these intense situations. But that's just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to human resources. HR leaders are deeply engaged in company strategy. They're experts on compensation and benefits and are on the front lines of recruitment and retention. HR leaders focus on talent development and help create training programs. They help company managers work through the hard task of employee discipline and performance improvement. HR leaders strive to ensure their workplaces are fair, safe, and welcoming to all employees. Altogether, it adds up to one of the most vital roles within any organization. It's often one of the most underappreciated roles as well, and that is why I'm so pleased to join with you all today in giving a well-deserved thank you to the human resource professionals who make their organizations operate at peak performance. Today, we celebrate our 6th annual HR Achievement Awards, presented in partnership with Utah SHRM. Honorees were selected by a panel of community judges, including members of Utah SHRM, and previous winners of this award, David Alsop of Ultradent and Nic Enlow of ASEA. Thank you for your thoughtful consideration in reading and selecting from all the nominations we received. To today's honorees, please accept Utah Business's warmest congratulations for your many achievements. And to everyone, please join me in a round of applause for our tremendous HR Achievement Award honorees. Congratulations.
Thank you, Melanie. All right, let's talk a little bit about Web. Web is a full-service event company based right here in Salt Lake City. In addition to live events, just like this one, Web is also producing virtual events to help clients continue delivering their message to thousands of people around the world. Whether it's virtual or live, Web is one of the most creative, one of the most innovative event companies in the market. And the best way to really show you what they do is to show you. So take a look. What a great video. Thank you so much, Webb. Very impressive to see. Utah SHRM serves to elevate and connect the HR profession within the business community in Utah while supporting the needs of HR professionals, the community, and the leaders and volunteers of 5 local SHRM chapters across the state. Utah SHRM and the local 5 chapters are affiliates of the Society for Human Resource Management, the world's largest HR membership community, representing 300,000 professionals in more than 165 countries. SHRM and its affiliates empower people and workplaces by advancing HR practices, maximizing human potential, and building a world of work that works for all. Please give a warm welcome, SHRM Utah State Director Steve Smith.
Good afternoon, everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed colleagues and fellow business enthusiasts, thank you for gathering here today to celebrate the great accomplishments of colleagues in the indispensable role of the human resource profession. In a world where technology, innovation, and rapid change reign supreme, it is the human touch that remains at the heart of every successful organization. At the Utah Society for Human Resource Management, as the Utah SHRM State Director, I am privileged to briefly address you on the profound importance of HR and what it embodies for businesses of all sizes and industries. At the core of SHRM's values lies the understanding that people are a company's most valuable asset. Organizations, regardless of their nature, cannot thrive without the skills, dedication, and passion of their employees. The HR profession serves as the driving force that nurtures, supports, and empowers these individuals to reach their full potential. First and foremost, HR professionals are the architects of the company culture. They craft an environment that fosters inclusivity, collaboration, and respect. In doing so, they create a workplace where employees feel valued and motivated to give their best, thereby increasing engagement and productivity. Furthermore, HR is the linchpin in talent acquisition and management. From sourcing the right candidates to onboarding and continuous development, HR ensures that the right people are in the right roles at the right time. By strategically aligning talent and business goals, HR professionals contribute directly to an organization's success. Moreover, HR is the guardian of employee well-being. Mental and physical health are paramount to sustainable performance. HR champions wellness programs, work-life balance initiatives, and a safe environment, acknowledging that a healthy workforce is a resilient one. In an era of ever-evolving laws and regulations, HR professionals act as compliance experts, ensuring that organizations adhere to legal and ethical standards. Their expertise in navigating complex labor laws and regulations safeguards both employees and the business. In essence, SHRM and its practitioners underscore the notion that investing in people yields long-lasting dividends. Employee satisfaction translates to customer satisfaction, innovation, and profitability. HR isn't just about payroll and paperwork. It's about creating a strategic advantage that propels businesses towards their goals. In conclusion, the human resource profession is the cornerstone of sustainable success in any organization. Utah SHRM's values resonate throughout the business world within the state, reminding us that a company's true strength lies in its people. So let us embrace the principles of SHRM by recognizing the integral role of HR professionals in the state of Utah and celebrate the accomplishment of these professionals that we're going to learn about today. I personally know some of them, and the great efforts they have made to work collectively to foster workplaces where individuals flourish and Utah business thrives. The present and future of the HR profession truly holds endless promise. Thank you. Sorry, I forgot they asked me to introduce. So I'm going to have Tony Benjamin come up. He is our Utah State Conference SHRM Director over our conference this year. It's taking place at the end of September. He's going to don the Indiana Jones hat because this year our theme is all about adventure, and we just wanted to take just a few minutes to talk about the conference. And so I'm going to turn the time over to him. After Tony, we are going to hear from ASEA Garn, which I'm so excited about. So go ahead, Tony.
All right, now I'm nervous. I think I need to pull out my notes. I got really nervous. Those aren't my notes. Oh, there's my notes. Okay, I got my notes. I would like to formally invite all of you to the Work Elevated Conference of 2023. This year will be held the last week of September, so the 25th, 26th, and 27th. This year's conference includes some incredible speakers that you may know some of them, and some of them you want to know, trust me. First off, on Monday, we'll have Lynn Roberts from the University of Utah. She's the head coach of the women's basketball team at the university who just went to the Sweet 16. For those of you also who think that SHRM can't tackle cutting edge ideas or go into controversy, our Monday afternoon keynote speech will be on whether or not DEI is even a good idea, when Katie Conlon and Conlon Bonner will give us both sides of that argument. We look forward to seeing you there. The technical ability or the technical information that will be relayed will be just incredible. I would also like to offer a special invitation to all of those of you who are executives at companies with larger workforces and multiple branches or a lot of HR people. For those of you who don't know, the conference a few years ago was in trouble. It's the major revenue source for Utah SHRM, and COVID and a few other things all combined to really damage our ability to bring service. We have worked through that, and the conference is recovering well. As a matter of fact, the conference last year received the National SHRM Pinnacle Award for the conference. But we need your support. The future of HR is in your hands, and we would like to have all of you there. If you and your staff have not registered yet, please. This is your special invitation to come with us to help rebuild this amazing conference. Again, that's WeCon 2023, the last week of September, the 25th, 26th, and 27th. Same price it's always been. Would love to see you there. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve and Tony. And now we know who they're going to call when Harrison Ford is finally done acting. Tony, you can take the part from there. All right, as was mentioned, we are now excited to hear from this year's keynote speaker, ASEA Garn. ASEA's experience includes more than 17 years in HR, recruiting, and business development, primarily with small to mid-sized businesses. She currently serves on the Enterprise Solutions team with SHRM, consulting organizations on how to build modern and sustainable people strategies utilizing the vast portfolio of SHRM products. She is often an early adopter with a natural curiosity for all things, especially people. Her passion for the HR profession is obvious. She is a member of the Forbes Human Resource Council. She's served as the president for Salt Lake SHRM, co-founded Disrupt HR SLC, currently serves as the past executive director for Utah SHRM, and acts as an advisor and member of several business-focused groups. In addition to that long list I just mentioned, she recently has embraced entrepreneurship as founder and CEO for Level Next, a mentor matching marketplace which leverages technology to align powerful connections between mentors and those seeking their guidance. When she's not exploring one of the state's beautiful trails or organizing an impromptu flash mob, she's busy sewing 80s throwback costumes for her 11-year-old son and pursuing her journey to find the world's best cinnamon roll. And maybe she will tell us where that cinnamon roll is. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome ASEA Garn to the stage.
Wow, I have been to every single HR Achievement Awards event since its inception a few years ago. So happy to partner with Utah SHRM bringing this to light for our community and our businesses. As we all recognize in this room, we contribute so much to the ongoing success of our economy and our communities. So there's a few things that I'm excited to share with you today, which when I say a few, my list as an ADHD diagnosed person, my few things looks like this, but I'll try to keep it to this for the sake of time. You guys are here to celebrate, your awards, and I certainly don't want to stand in the way of that. I'd like to start off by reading a quote from a book that I recently finished earlier this spring. If you guys are interested in book clubs or if you want to add one to your reading list. The name of the book is called Range, Why Generalists Triumph in a Specialized World by David Epstein. The quote goes like this: "The response in every field to a ballooning library of human knowledge and an interconnected world has been to exalt increasingly narrow focus. Both training and professional incentives are aligning to accelerate specialization, creating intellectual archipelagos." That's wordy, and it's really a lot of big words. I'm looking over at my 11-year-old son, and his eyes are glazed over. But what I love about this quote is it's talking about how our world continues to grow with access to information. And as we know, AI is imparting a lot more pressure on our businesses, on our HR departments, and on our people strategies of how we're going to continue to adapt and add value to the people function of the business. As I read this, I really connected with it on a personal level because I realized as an HR professional, I don't really do one thing and one thing well. But what I have learned over my career is I have this wonderful tool belt with lots of colorful tools around it. My tool belt is pink, obviously. But what it's brought to the table is the opportunity to apply the knowledge that I've gained in various places to the next function instead of putting the blinders on and only having access to the knowledge of the one thing that I can do well. So when I think about where our profession is headed and why we are acknowledging the talent that's in the room today, it's very much aligned with the fact that you guys are kind of okay for the foreseeable future in an AI, foreseeable world in the future, because you have the ability to make connections that computers just can't. Whether that's connection of how one part of information applies to another, or how that connection translates into a human connection with another person. It's very unique to our profession, and I wouldn't be up here today if I didn't believe that we have the strongest calling within our business communities. So with that said, I grew up in very small towns. Wyoming, Idaho, if you guys are familiar with a town called Shelley, that's right outside of Idaho Falls. That is where my family is from originally. And one thing that always stood out to me as a young person in these areas was how big of a deal it was when something was being built. Because typically it required new construction, excavating a lot of dirt, and then we'd go play on the, probably not supposed to, but we'd see if they let the keys in and if we could run the backhoe for a few minutes before the cops came. Another story for another day. But I also recently attended a beautiful week in New York. And what stood out to me on this trip, walking down the streets, was this is an entire city that's been around for hundreds and hundreds of years, that has so much infrastructure, but is still constantly under construction, constantly. One that stood out to me by our hotel was there was a fully built building and a fully built building and a complete excavation site right in between the two. And so construction was still happening. They were still building. They were still, creating something from nothing. And a lot of times it was because it needed to happen. But this brought me to a parallel of how our workplaces are as well. Sometimes, for example, in a startup, you're out excavating new land without any infrastructure at all, but you're still building. And sometimes you're in New York and you're trying to break down policies and practices that have been in place for 50 years or more, but you know that in order to do better, to provide new services, to continue to innovate, you have to tear down those walls in order to construct new business. So this is something that is very amazing to me when I think about the plethora of all we do for our organizations. When it comes to HR governance, I use this analogy a lot when I try to understand how a company values HR within the walls of their business. So for those of you that have heard this, my apologies for being redundant. For those of you that haven't, sit back and enjoy. Let's imagine, if you will, you are all part of this beautiful city community, and going back to the analogy of whether you're in a small town in Wyoming or you're in the big city of New York, there's governance that is required to fulfill the needs of the HR department. So first we have the city planner function. Excuse me, I'm going to start with the traffic cop function. The traffic cop function is very much responsible for just what you would think: keeping people compliant, blowing the whistle when things go awry, telling traffic when to go and when to stop. But their primary emphasis is in the workplace knowledge that they provide. So making sure that people are following policies, that they are following the laws that are necessary, and keeping the company out of hot water and hopefully from being sued. Very, very important role. Next, you have a city planner function within HR. City planner is very strategic. They're attending all of the meetings. They're in the high-rise building looking over this beautiful city that they've worked so hard to strategize, and they're thinking infrastructure. So this is where workplace design comes in. They're thinking more about organizational development and design, and typically are looking more at the 3 to 5 year term and also an exit strategy potentially, and not so much focused on the day-to-day tactics of what's happening within the HR community or within the employee population. Third, you have the HR governance of the mayor. I love the mayor because I most closely identify with the mayor, but it's not always as important to every company. But this function is very much the PR of HR. So they're great at persuading others. They're very good at getting other people to buy into certain initiatives or why we need to do what we need to do. Why is it important to advocate for our employees? So for the sake of the analogy, let's assume politics are noble. They love to be out in the community, shaking hands, kissing babies, and hearing the stories of the citizens that live there. Their value tends to align with employee experience and understanding culture and how to operationalize values. When you put all of these things together, all of this is important for the role that we play as HR professionals inside our businesses. But oftentimes in my consulting or in recruiting or in hiring for HR professionals, as I talk to business leaders, they usually say, I want one person to do all of that. Is that so much to ask? Kind of a lot. Yeah, that's a lot for one person to do. But when you start to figure out what is the biggest need of your company, we can align whatever talent and skill set and knowledge base to the application of the candidates that are most fit to perform the duties of what that company cares the most about. So as I mentioned early on, this is a little bit of a struggle. I think a lot of fear is involved in our profession as far as where we're going and, are we going to be automated out of a job? So this is another quote from that book that I referenced by David Epstein, Range. AI systems are like savants. They need stable structures and narrow worlds. So if we as generalists are able to continue to apply our knowledge, the key word being apply, we'll always have a place within business because you can't replace that. You're not able to ever automate human connection. As I was reading through many of the quotes on the website from the recipients and the honorees today, there was a constant theme of human connection, whether that was, I love supporting our employees, I love helping advocate for their needs, to a mentor is the person that I give credit to my success, or I love mentoring others. And these human connection points are not something that a technology is really ever going to be able to take away from us. I think that human connection is very special and unique to our profession. So here we go, advantage us, right? That's Will Smith, and he's being rejected by that robot on a date. That actually happened after AI Robot came out, so super fun. All right, another one that I really like when it comes to how we continue to stay relevant in our profession and really who and why we're celebrating the individuals we are today. Seek wisdom, not knowledge. Knowledge is of the past, wisdom is of the future. It's It's not enough to just be a learner. I love how many people I come across that are lifelong learners and love going to events and conferences and read. That's only one part of the equation. We have to get to a point where we're connecting to the next layer of learning, which is the application. So when we think back to those mayors and the traffic cops and the city planners, they're exceptional with their knowledge base in these categories of workplace, people, and organization. But the elevation of that is the behaviors that support that knowledge base, including leadership, interpersonal skills, and business acumen. So when we combine them, we have this beautiful parallel of not just a repository of knowledge, but the application of how it's going to support the goals of our businesses and where they want to dedicate their time and create these achievements. That's what makes our profession stand out, just not only today, but in the future, is how we are business first who happen to practice HR. The fact that we love humans is a great reason to work in HR. But if you love humans and you don't understand business, you are an underpaid therapist. True story. Without the business acumen to support the knowledge that you have, you will never be able to fully apply it to the next level, the next calling of supporting your businesses the way that you have the opportunity to do. So ultimately, we are here to celebrate these individuals: Alyssa, Anita, Ashley, August, Brianna, Britt, Dana, Devin, Jeff, JD, Johnny, Kim, Madison, Michael, Mike, Nate, Sarah, no H, Sarah, H, Sean, and Suzanne. For those of you in the room, thank you for all you do to contribute to our businesses, for the wisdom you impart on our leaders, and for all that you have done to elevate the role of HR in our community. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Elisa. Let's give another round of applause. That was great. We now want to move on to the recognition part of today's program, where we are celebrating these HR Achievement honorees, and we're going to go from small to extra large companies. So the first award recipient that we want to recognize from the small business category is Brianna Davis. Take a look at your video screens.
I was working as a medical assistant for a doctor's office that did surgical procedures in office. And the third time I fainted, that was kind of the pivotal moment that I realized the medical was not for me. So I started looking at different career fields or paths that would still allow me to connect with people and help others. And when I found HR, I knew that's what I was supposed to do. I had started with a large corporation, and I was part of a group onboarding. And I just remember feeling like a herd of cattle as we were steered into the room. HR, they gave a brief introduction, and then they hit play on a pre-recorded video. And I just remember feeling like it was not personable at all. And I knew in that moment that I wanted to change the onboarding experience for new hires. So I made it my personal mission to make sure that new hires feel a sense of connection before they even step foot in our doors for their first day. The most rewarding thing about working in HR is being able to advocate for the company, but also advocate for the employee. When I'm able to find a solution that benefits not only the company, but the employee, it's a win-win, and that's the most rewarding thing to me.
Please give a warm welcome to the HR Manager of Opt Connect, Brianna Davis.
in HR gives you the opportunity to really help people connect their passion for their work to an opportunity. And so I get the chance to be able to help people find what that passion is in recruiting, in sort of working with the individuals who are currently on the team. It's really a great opportunity to help them figure out exactly what it is they love to do and do that every day. So if somebody is a brand new HR professional, there are so many different paths they can take in the field itself, but you have to find what it is that you get excited to do every morning. And whether that's moving into a generalist role where you get to try a little bit of everything, or working as an HRPP where you have the opportunity to really deeply understand the mission and the function of a particular department within your company, you find what it is you love. I mean, there are people who are benefits specialists and they just crush that. And then there are people who really specialize in employee relations, and that's what really sparks whatever passion they have for their work. So there are so many different opportunities within HR that you can leverage.
Let's give a big congratulations to the Pathos Senior Director of People and Site Operations, Britt McPartland.
Seeing somebody come in on their first day of work, they've got a new job, and there's just a fire and an energy when somebody has something new to look forward to, and it's just the next step in their life. That is my favorite thing about working in HR, is just the fire of something new and new people in a building. If I could offer advice to employers for talent acquisition and retention, it's definitely to keep your word. I think there's so many times in a hiring process where we are promising the world and then somebody comes on and you don't keep those promises, and it just kills the vibe right away and the trust. And so just keep your word, keep your promises, and employees will stick with you. They'll trust you, and then they won't want to leave. In my opinion, the company of the future takes better care of its employees just by listening to their needs and wants. I think it's so common for companies to think that everybody has the same wants and needs, but individualizing and tailoring to individual employees can make the biggest difference. I'm happy this is where I've ended up. I love to work with people and make a difference, and I feel like this is the best way to do it.
Being recognized for her work as co-founder and COO of Proper 7, please welcome Madison Walker.
If I'm giving advice about talent acquisition and retention specifically, it's that the C-suite can do a lot more than I think they can to create an environment. It's not as difficult to create an environment where you have good retention and you only need to hire or acquire that talent once every 3 years as opposed to a revolving door every other year. The monetary impact, the financial impact of that, of great retention and talent acquisition processes that are really smooth and people are just banging on the door to come to your company, it's a no-brainer. And so they can be doing a lot more. They need to stop and ask the professionals in their company right now, their HR leaders, what they need to be doing. The real winners in the future are going to be those that look at employment as much more of a holistic experience. I mean, it's a third of our lives. There's no more hiding how it's really what it's really like to work at a place. You have Blind, you have Glassdoor, you have so many websites and apps that you can look up. So you might as well just be a vulnerable leader, be open. I think that's what people are really craving. It automatically allows their employee base to do the same. And that that is an environment where you can grow.
Moving on to our medium-sized companies, welcome to the stage former head of global talent for Rocket Lawyer and the current founder and CEO of Track Talent, JD Conway.
HR, I guess on a less serious note, would probably be failing calculus 2 in college. On a more serious note, I got a job in an HR office while I was doing school. I was studying chemical engineering at the time, but my coworkers in the office pulled together a fund from their own pockets to build a scholarship for me to switch my major to organizational behavior and human resources, and that's what kind of set me on this path. Definitely not what I planned, but it's been great so far. I think my biggest advice to employers regarding talent acquisition and retention would definitely be to employ brutal honesty in your process. I think the biggest tool that we have is letting candidates self-select out. I would dare say that it's more important for them to feel that the company is a good fit than for you to feel that they are a good fit. So any measure that you can present to them the truth and the pain points behind the position that they're interviewing for and the troubles that the company is dealing with is going to be all the better for them, which in turn means all the better for you.
Congratulations to Johnny Curl, Director of People Operations with Parallel Learning.
So something that had a big impact in my career was one of the early jobs that I got. It was probably for one of the bigger companies I worked for. It was a corporate company. So the boss that I worked for there, he was very mentor-minded, and so he believed in trusting his employees and really believing in us maybe more than we believed in ourselves. Early on, when I'd come to him with a solution, how should we handle this employee relation issue, he would often ask me, what do you think? What do you think we should do? And he probably didn't realize it at the moment, but just in trusting me that way, it really helped me grow in who I am today. I'd like to see human resources continue to progress in the way that HR continues to earn a seat at the table, being a strategic partner to the business, maybe not just on the tactical stuff, but really playing a key role as a strategic partner. I'd say the most rewarding part of HR is just being able to wear many hats. So I get to be an attorney, I get to be a trainer or a recruiter, an advisor, and the list goes on. So I think it's just really the many responsibilities that come with being in HR. It is very rewarding.
Please welcome to the stage from VLCM, their CHRO, Devin Larson.
Watching the company grow over the last 5 years has been going from somebody that wore multiple hats to being able to help hire those experts in those areas. Anything from IT, running onboarding, recruiting. There was a time me and my small team of 2 did all of it. And as we've grown, we've been able to handpick our employees with our culture, our mission, with the same drive we have, and build just a rock star team. Watching those people come in and learn and take each of those areas of expertise to the next level has been awesome. Business is hard, personal lives are hard, but as an employer and as a company, you hold many livelihoods in your hands. Building that trust and being transparent with your people and trusting that you can be transparent, giving them the why, the context behind it, is invaluable. When people know what we're doing and why, and they have a purpose, they're gonna support you tenfold. So the more you can incorporate them, trust in them, and grow them, the more valuable the relationship will become.
Big congratulations to Ashley Sullivan, People Experience Manager for Job Nimbus.
Key moment in my career is when I was recruited by Pepsi, because Pepsi expected its HR professionals to understand the business and interact with the other managers as part of the business. They didn't want you to come to the table only with an HR perspective, but with an understanding and a perspective that was derived not only because of your HR background, but because you understood what the business was all about and what the business was confronting at a particular time. My advice for employers in terms of talent acquisition is that your reputation means a lot. And it's not what you say you believe in, but it's how you live by that belief that matters. And one of those beliefs, respect towards others, if you believe that and you practice that at every stage of the employment process, from attracting people, interviewing them, choosing them or not choosing them, and then performance evaluations, discipline, any part of the employment process, up to and including terminations. If you treat people with respect and dignity throughout the process, that goes a long way to establishing yourself as an employer that people want to work for.
Let's welcome to the stage the Executive Vice President of People for Brandless, August Toscano.
When I was a child, I wanted to be a writer. I loved reading when I was growing up, and I loved writing. I would write a lot of short stories when I was young, and that's what I ended up getting my master's degree in, was in creative writing, and that's one of my side hobbies outside of HR, and so I'm actually doing both. I'm doing the thing that pays the bills that I also find fulfilling, but also the childhood dream of writing. I figured out how to balance both of those things somehow. My advice would be to just understand what is important to people as human beings and what their needs are as human beings, and then to do your best to meet those needs as their employer. You know, people need to feel a sense of belonging, they need purpose, they need to feel like they're trusted, and they need opportunities for growth, they need safety, and those are some of the things that employers just need to think about, how they can meet those needs for their people. And if they can do that, then people will want to stay with them for a long time and will want to come join their company to be part of that kind of culture.
Now from the large companies category, please welcome Pattern Chief People Officer Sarah Beard.
HR kind of by accident. I started with recruiting for an agency and doing physician recruiting for a company here in Utah, and then moved and ended up taking a corporate recruiting position for a mining company. And after I was there for a couple of years, I was asked to move into talent management and really just found my passion and my calling through that role. Actually, as I think back on my career and the moments that I'm proud of, while I've done a lot of projects, a lot of process change and things like that tied to human resources, the moments that I'm most proud of is when I know I had an impact on the people. We had a very tragic situation where we lost a team member to suicide, and I was responsible for communicating with his wife. She was also a team member at our company, and I remember feeling really daunted by that task, and how do I show up in this moment in a way that lets her know that I still see her as a human. There's a lot of situations we run into that we hope we never have to be in, but when we find ourselves in them, really making sure that we are seeing the humanity in the situation and leading with kindness and compassion, even in really difficult situations or difficult decisions that we have to make in our roles.
Please give a warm welcome to Pluralsight's Senior Director of People Business Partners GTM, Kim Brannon.
When I came into the HR field, I really had to think outside of the limits that I had probably put on myself. I came from a completely different industry. I actually had worked in news media for several years before moving to USANA in 2009, and I joined USANA as a marketing writer. About 7 years later, I knew I loved USANA, but I was looking for a change. So I was given this really unique opportunity to join this HR department in the talent acquisition field. I didn't have an HR background, but I knew what I knew, and I knew that I loved USANA, and I knew that I loved the mission and the vision and the brand of USANA, and I knew that I could share that passion with others. I believe everybody has a unique story and perspective, and when it comes to talent acquisition, I'm not just thinking about today when I interview candidates, I'm thinking about long term, and I'm thinking about USANA as a whole. And I want to ensure that candidates, whether they're hired or not, have the best experience possible and that they can remember USANA with a positive outlook and they can look back positively at their experience. And I think if we can look at talent acquisition like that, we can build a better culture and community for our organizations.
Let's give a big round of applause for the Talent Acquisition Manager of USANA Health Sciences, Suzanne Houghton.
Initially, my interest in HR came from a passion behind studying individual psychology and how that blends with business. So as I was looking for a college major, the Cornell University School of Industrial and Labor Relations really provided that blend. And I knew as I sat through the college admissions session that that's where my passions came together, and I was really excited to start my journey in the HR field there. So L3 Harris has a history of, and really a motto of, being a trusted disruptor, something that we've built into the fabric of what it is that we do every day. From an HR perspective, people spend so much time at work. Think about a 5-day work week versus 7 days in a full week. We spend a lot of time with our colleagues. We spend a lot of time working for L3 Harris. So to be a trusted disruptor in HR really means that we're rethinking and reimagining the way that we work. We need to do it since we spend so much time. We need to make this a welcoming, safe, wonderful place. And we also need to meet what our customers are looking for. So for us, being that trusted disruptor is really all about changing what we do, how we do it, and the tools that we use to be the best we can be every day.
Now on to our final category, extra large companies. Congratulations to Michael Brandt, the L3 Harris Senior Director of Human Resources.
My start in HR career was early and then a bit of a circle. So I first started in leadership development training very early in my career, and then later, after focusing on finance and operations for many years, was given the opportunity to lead our people team at Savage. So that's been a privilege and kind of got me back into the HR world. So the advice I have for anyone starting their career in people-related parts of the business, and HR specifically, is really start focusing on business results. Whether that's results for our customers, whether that's results for anyone that we serve, that can be the starting point. And from there, any programs, strategies, work that you do is creating value for those customers. And when you do that, working with people and leveraging the skills and talents that people bring, you can really make a difference in the marketplace. And that's what business is about, and I think that's what HR ultimately is about as well. The most rewarding thing about working in this part of our business is the chance to really help people develop and to see people develop and grow in their careers. One of our guiding principles at Savage is to help people do things they never dreamed possible. And I'm fortunate I get to see that every day across our team, 4,000 people and across the world. And there's really nothing more meaningful to me than that.
Please give a warm welcome the EVP and Chief People and Strategy Officer for Savage, Jeff Kirkham.
Value we win together is fundamentally about a collective result. We've worked very hard to create a culture where it's not just about the individual, but it's about the group achieving results together. It creates more meaning and more significance when you can accomplish objectives with other people. Winning together means that sometimes your own personal preferences maybe get set aside to ensure that the overall needs of the organization are met, but that everybody fundamentally is successful because we're focused on a collective result, not just individual accolades. I think that talent management and leadership development are critical for companies to be successful and really competitive, because at the end of the day, we're all fundamentally in the business of people. It's people that give us our true source of competitive advantage. Development of your key asset, your talent, is critical to being competitive, and that is the way we will compete and win in the marketplace.
Let's give a big congratulations to Nate Miller, Vivint VP of Learning and Organizational Development.
One of the interviews I did coming out of graduate school, I met with someone, I won't name the company, but after a little bit she said, hey, if you like people, you should go into HR. And I thought, well, that's a problem, because I do like people, and it's actually one of the things that I like the most about HR, is the opportunity that we have to have a positive impact on people. And not only the people that work for our organization, but frankly, there's a ripple effect. That, when people have a great experience at work, they go home, and that great experience, you feel it in your home and in your community. So I think in HR we have a great opportunity to have impact not only on our team members and employees, but also on their families and on their communities. That for me is what I enjoy the most. So I love to coach. So I coach a lot outside of work. And to me, it's all about putting people in a position to win. I love to win, and when I say win, it's about, you know, the success of the business, the success of people. And so for me, it's all about how do you put people in a position to win. And I think in HR we have a great opportunity to do that in a lot of different ways.
Congratulations to the Mountain America Credit Union Vice President of HR, Sean Morrison.
That's been incredibly beneficial for me, obviously now working in a global company with half of its employees outside of the U.S., but it also really, gives you a broader perspective on different cultures and how those impact business, and also just professionally speaking, it really stretches you. As I look back on my career, these are probably the things that I enjoy the most. In human resources, when you're able to kind of find that magic combination where you have the opportunity to improve a people process, but at the same time also affect, in a positive way, the value creation of the business or business results, and in addition to that, create a context where employees can be, increasingly recognized or rewarded. It doesn't happen every day, but when you find the opportunity to do those three things at one time, it's incredibly rewarding. For me, this is what are the times when I've felt the most successful in my career.
Big round of applause for the Chief Human Resources Officer for Merit Medical Systems, Inc., Mike Voigt.
I actually started off my career in healthcare. I was a director of case management, and unfortunately, the company I worked for didn't have an HR professional. Because of the lack, I was able to really understand the value and need for that role. And so when I left that company, I decided to take on HR and be that advocate for employees, as well as take on those responsibilities that really help a company succeed, as well as truly help the company run smoothly and efficiently. The most rewarding thing I found while working in HR is just the impact you can make, not only on the business as a whole, but also on an individual level, really helping people enjoy what they do, scale their career, and enjoy coming to work every day. Companies of the future can best take care of their employees by really understanding the fact that employees and human beings in general are driven by progress. And so that looks like an employer really providing experiences and opportunities to help an employee develop themselves, not only at work, but outside of work as well.
Now recognizing the winner of the up-and-coming award, Alyssa Eberspachter, HR and Project Manager for D2D Experts.
at a prior employer many years ago. I worked to help fill in for people that are on vacation or help on special projects, but I worked out of the HR team. Well, there was a member of our HR team that was the HR tech person that took 4 weeks of vacation, and I covered for her 4 weeks while she was out. And while I was learning about her job and then spending that time doing her job, I thought, okay, this is what I want to do. It's like the perfect combination of people and technology and data. And so I was just very fortunate to have wonderful opportunities and wonderful leaders to say, okay, after this person decided to move to a different position in our HR team, I was given the opportunity to take that position. And it was just like, yep, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life, and had no idea that that career even existed. One of the things I think that is really important that you can't understate is to help your candidates as you're recruiting to really understand your organization's purpose, because people really want to work for a company that has a compelling purpose. And if you can communicate that in such a way that not only attracts candidates, but then helps people want to stay, and as you communicate that, you help them understand how their role plays in and connects with that purpose, I think that's very powerful. But it's also just helps with your employer brand too, that if you have an inspirational purpose, it's just going to move your organization forward in a way that is not going to happen otherwise.
And our final honoree of the afternoon, our Lifetime Achievement winner that we will be pleased to hear from, OC Tanner's Vice President of People and Great Work, Dana Rogers. Congratulations.
Thank you, Mallory, and hello, everyone. Good afternoon. It's so good to be with you. I'm incredibly humbled and deeply honored to accept the HR Lifetime Achievement Award. It's an extraordinary privilege to receive this recognition. I'm immensely grateful to Mindy Cox, who's here with us today, for nominating me and for the selection committee for bestowing this honor. I want to express my gratitude to my husband, Ross, and my kids, Robert and May, who are here today too, and my daughter, Katie, who is on the other side of the world, and to my parents and sister who traveled from Montana to be here with us today. You've all been an unwavering source of love and support, and your patience and understanding and encouragement have allowed me to pursue a career I love. I would also like to extend my heartfelt appreciation to leaders, mentors, and colleagues who have shaped me into the professional I am today. None of this would be possible without their guidance, expertise, and belief in my abilities. Mindy, you're the definition of an inspirational mentor and leader. I can't thank you enough. To our phenomenal People and Great Work team at OC Tanner, for those of you who don't know, OC Tanner's purpose is to help people thrive at work. And with our team, it is such an honor to work alongside talented, caring, brilliant individuals who work every day to ensure that our people thrive at work too. But no accomplishments would have been possible without the many employees I've had the privilege to serve. Each interaction, conversation, and connection has enriched my understanding of the human experience. I am inspired daily by our people's stories, their resilience, and the heights they can achieve when they are encouraged to do their best work. I'd also like to congratulate all of today's honorees. All of you saw those wonderful videos and the stories that everyone had to share. Each of you is fully aware of the immense responsibility that accompanies these awards. HR is far more than a department. It's the heartbeat of the organization. It's where we cultivate talent, nurture potential, and champion diversity. It is where we recognize the inherent worth of every individual and empower them to contribute their best to a larger purpose. It's where we navigate the complexities of employment relationships with compassion and integrity. Let us continue to create cultures of continuous learning, empathy, inclusivity, and the well-being of employees, and to create workplaces where each and every individual can flourish. In closing, I want to reiterate my deepest gratitude for this extraordinary recognition. I accept this award with immense pride, knowing that it represents not only individual achievements, but also the collective efforts of everyone I've had the great fortune to work with. Thank you.
Okay, let's give another round of applause for all our honorees today. We've had such a fun group this afternoon. We had our own cheer squad back there. I felt like we were in a football game. It has been a fun group and very neat to see all the different career paths. And who would have thought such great things would come from fainting 3 times, failing calculus, you know, the different paths that you thought you would be on, and that it brought you here to HR. And the thing that really stuck out to me this afternoon is just this love for people, for helping people through the good, the bad, the hard, the fun, every life moment, every little thing. And one of the videos, I think it was Sean maybe, talked about impact. And I think about everyone in this room who has worked in HR and the impact you've had on all of your employees and those employees' families, and the ripple effect that it causes is really neat to see. So thank you so much for all of your words and all of your hard work as well. So just to wrap up, we do have a couple housekeeping items. You may have noticed that there's a QR code right there in the middle of your table. As a thank you for attending today, Utah Business is offering a complimentary year subscription to their monthly publication. So just scan the QR code and it'll help you go to where you need to register for that. And as a reminder, it was mentioned earlier, but Utah Business is currently accepting registrations for the best companies to work for. So I'm sure you think your company is one of them, so we want to hear about it. Visit our website, you can register there, and you can also scan the QR code in the inside of your event program, and it will take you to where you need to go for that. Finally, please note that parking is paid for, so if you didn't get a voucher when you came in with your name badge, make sure that you just visit the registration table as you're headed out so that you can get that. And we also like to do our part in recycling. So if you can just take your name badge off and just leave it on the table, we'll collect them after everyone's gone and we can reuse those. And the entire awards luncheon and the individual photos and videos, those will be posted on our website shortly. So you can share those with your family, friends, coworkers, post them where you want, and that will be available. And that concludes our event for the day. So thank you so much for you all being here, and congratulations once again to the 2023 HR Achievement honorees.